As many parents prepare to send their children off to college in the coming weeks, some are likely unaware of just how radicalized many of our U.S. college campuses have become. Well, joining us to share some of the latest progressive craziness is Ethan Kai. He's a correspondent with the Leadership Institute's Campus Reform. Ethan, immigration and ICE raids, they'll likely be a hot topic on campus this fall. Tell us how some of America's colleges and universities are addressing this issue. What are they doing?
Yeah, so something we've seen at college campuses all around the country at the Leadership Institute's Campus Reform is that these colleges are really opposing immigration laws. And not only are they opposing the laws themselves, but also now the ICE officers who enforce those laws. These ICE officers are being vilified and even asked to be publicly shamed. One human rights professor made a public announcement saying that she believes that we should publicly shame these ICE officers to get them to quit their jobs. At UC Berkeley, too, these students are being taught to fight back against ICE officers. There's even an ICE report hotline that is used for students to report ICE sightings so that they can warn illegal immigrants.
An ICE hotline? I mean, that's unbelievable. I didn't know about that one. Where is that, and how's that working?
Yeah, so it's at the University of California, Berkeley. And so students can just call in this number, report an ICE sighting, and the campus will alert everyone on the campus that an ICE officer is present. And this really it stems from this anti-Trump culture because people are now equating being anti-ICE to being anti-Trump. What we've seen at Campus Reform through different student interviews, we made a video where we read out an Obama immigration policy to students at Georgetown University. And they actually interpret it as a Trump quote. And originally they said that the quote came from white nationalism. It was not moral. But then as soon as they learned that it was an Obama quote, they kind of hesitated and, stepped back.
Well, I wanted to ask you about that because I saw that video that Cabot Phillips did. We want to run a clip right now.
We are a nation of laws. Undocumented workers broke our laws, and I believe they must be held accountable, especially those who may be dangerous. That's why over the past 6 years, deportations of criminals are up 80%, and we're going to keep focusing on threats to our security. What's your thought on that quote and that policy in general?
I think that policy comes from a place of white American nationalism. Donald Trump has kind of embraced this rhetoric of racism and xenophobia that is not beneficial to our country at all.
I don't think that quote really stands true.
I'm going to show you the person that said that quote.
We're also a nation of laws. Undocumented workers.
Is that surprising?
Yeah, a little bit.
Why is that surprising?
Because I thought it was the Trump administration that said something like that.
Yeah, it's quite surprising. I thought it was from Trump.
I didn't expect it to be Obama either.
Why did you not expect it to be Obama?
Because I guess, I don't know, it never occurred to me that it could be Obama.
Is that surprising that it's a quote from President Obama?
Yeah, that was surprising for sure.
Tell me, Ethan, what did you think of that when you saw some of those and heard some of those responses?
Yeah, it's really kind of sad. And it shows that there's this damaging lack of viewpoint diversity on our campuses. There's really this innate hypocrisy in politics from the side of the left. And this could really come to harm the country as a whole because these students, they're the next generation of leaders and educators and workers in our country. And if this continues to happen, this blatant lack of viewpoint diversity will begin to corrupt our country.
And it's not only encouraging students to be accessories to crime, basically, by harboring illegal immigrants, people who broke the law coming into our country. We recently saw a Minnesota town, St. Louis Park, ban the Pledge of Allegiance at a city council meeting, or at their meetings or future meetings, saying it might be uncomfortable for some non-citizens who would attend the meetings, but banning the pledge and anti-Americanism, that's nothing new on our college campuses, so it's been going on for a while. Tell us more how students are being instructed not to be patriotic.
Yeah, so unfortunately, the Minnesota ban is not an isolated case. At Campus Reform, we've seen this over and over again on different universities across the country. At the University of Wyoming, a student veteran was banned from reciting the Pledge of Allegiance because of the claim that it could potentially harm international students. At Clemson University, students boycotted the Pledge of Allegiance to protest racial divide. And what these institutions and what these students are failing to acknowledge is that the Pledge of Allegiance really is not a dividing force, but rather it's a symbol of American unity. In our country, no matter what race you are, no matter what religion you practice, we're all united under our flag and under our pledge as citizens of this country. And these students and institutions really forget that fact.
And finally, as we wrap it up here, Ethan, what will you be keeping your eye on as many high school graduates head off to college starting, I guess, next month?
Yeah, I'm just going to be continuing to keep my eye out for any, professors with radically biased views. I'm going to continue to be reporting for campus reform and hoping to expose these biases so that students like myself can freely express our opinions.